Hi, kia ora, good afternoon. Um, I just thought I would explain my posts, the stuff that I'm putting up on X and Instagram and YouTube in the post section, and why I'm putting up stuff to do with like bedrooms and kitchens and colours, and I'm like, ooh, gorgeous, and oh my God, love this, and my sister and I are commenting. That's because my vision boards are basically notes that I'm keeping to myself so that when I get to build my foundation, I can sit down with my interior designers and architects and builders and say, I want it like this. I kind of want it like this. I'm not copying anything because I'm not a thief. I don't steal people's work to claim as my own. I'm not my ex's or Elon Musk or Donald Trump. But I get inspired by, I like the way I like that bath, or I really like the idea of putting pot plants there or using wicker, but I would add this and I'd do this and I'd do that and blah, blah, blah. And when people post stuff to do with their architecture and interior design, photos and that, they're inspiring to me because I'm looking for interior design ideas that I can use when I'm putting the kids' dorms together, because I want at least 6 beds in each dorm. I want them to be able to have space and room to move, unlike the kind of summer camps and that I went to, where they could have like 12 beds in each dorm. I want the kids, because they're going to be there for a year, so I want them to be able to have room to move in that. So I mean, I'll put in bunks if I have to, but I don't really want to. I'm looking that I want their, even though they're going to be sharing a dorm, like a room. In New Zealand, we call them batches. And a batch is basically just like a building, like a big room where you put multiple beds. And usually you all shared like a communal bathroom and shower, but I'm not doing that. They'll have their own private bathrooms and showers. They'll have like a couple of showers and a couple of toilets in each dorm. And I wanted sort of, at most I'd go 8 kids from varying ages, obviously, with enough room that they can walk around and have their own space and have their own freedom. They can have their own partition curtains for privacy, that sort of thing. I also want to be able to have what I'm going to call chalets for my staff that I invite over, who will not, I mean, technically they're on staff, but they're more guests, to invite over, my tarot readers and all that, so that they've got their own privacy. And so a lot of the stuff that you'll see, bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, living rooms, outdoors, that sort of thing, it's all to get design, architecture and landscape ideas for the chalets, for the dorms, for the Royal Oak Tree Inn, my hotel. I want everything to be reclaimed and recycled, so my interior designer will have a field day going to auctions and flea markets and antique shops and, places that are being torn down, to reclaim the wood, to reclaim the furniture, to reclaim the seats, all that sort of thing. So my vision board is to say, like, I kind of want the bathrooms to look like this, or, I kind of like this idea, but maybe just have like eggshell coloured walls with this, that and the other. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm putting everything up. I love mosaics. I love tiles. I think that tiles and mosaics can just bring a dull room to life. And lighting, of course, I'm fascinated with lighting. I have a love of lamps and lighting and all of that. But, Yeah, so I love architecture, and I love interior design, and I love fashion design. And I think I get it from my Persian side, but also from my mum, because my mum was a Virgo. And when it comes to earth signs, they know how to make their surroundings and their bodies look classy and beautiful and coordinated, and they know earth signs, know colour better than anyone. They know how to bring a room to life. They know how to mould and shape their surroundings in a way that just speaks through through colour and lighting and all of that. And my mum, when she was doing up our house in Levin, I grew up with the swatches and the wallpaper samples, and I helped her like wallpaper the hallway. I watched her transform our kitchen and our dining room and all of that. Like, she did a phenomenal job. She did an incredible job. My mum was a natural born interior designer, being a Virgo, and she was also a fashion designer. She came up with her own fashion. She came up with fashions for my sister and I. She could copy pattern. She could look at like a dress design in that, and then get her sewing machine out and recreate it beautifully. So I get it. I think my love of interior design and architecture, I think I get from my Persian side mostly, but also from my mum, because she was incredible. And my sister and I, if you look at my Instagram, she's been commenting, "Oh, I love this," and "Oh my God." And I'm so happy because she just sent me a message a couple of hours ago saying that she loves my Instagram page. She loves what I've done to it, and I just said to her, I've given it over. I've given my social media over to my vision board for when I build the school. I said, I've put my sword down now. I said, I'm no longer fighting my exes and the peders and all that. So I'm allowed to just focus on the future, and the future is fire. And yeah, and I'm loving every minute of it. So if you see all these random pictures of rooms and backyards and houses and that sort of thing, it's because I'm laying the foundations of how I want fire to look for the kids' dorms, for the chalets, for the motel or the hotel, the Royal Oak Tree Inn, so that when I'm ready to go, I can sit down with my interior designer and my architect and my landscape gardener and that, and say, right, this is kind of, like with the tangi whare, the palliative care home, the hospice care house. I want it to look like an English country cottage with, beautiful wildflowers and a garden, because we're going to invite, it's not just palliative care for the veteran who's dying, but we're going to allow their families to come and stay as well. That's why it's called the tangi whare, because it's going to be done the Māori way. And the Māori way is when someone's dying, their family come and they surround them, they don't leave their side. We will, because I'll have a catering, staff will have a catering kitchen in the tangi whare, so all their food will be taken care of. Basically, the family, the person who's dying and their loved ones, like, their nearest and dearest, they can come and stay and sleep in the rooms with them. They'll have the nurses with the round the clock care, with them making sure that they're given their medications and all of that sort of thing. That's all. My sister's taking care of it all. It's going to be her business. I'm just paying for it. But so how we have, like, each room is basically going to be like a small house that will have like a TV. They'll be able to play music. They'll have like sofas and chairs and cots that they can all sleep on in the same room as the person who is transitioning, because that's how we do it at home. That's how Māori people do it. When our loved ones are dying, we don't leave their side. We stay with them. And we will put on everything they need. All the family have to worry about is just being with their loved one when they help them cross to the other side. But we'll make sure that outside of all their windows, they have beautiful room views of the flowers. We'll put in like a pond and bird feeders and that. So for the ones that are able to be wheeled out into the in a wheelchair, I was going to say pushchair, or where they can still go outside, we can move their beds so they can sit outside and listen, soak up the rays and all that sort of thing. But with their loved ones right there, and our catering staff will make sure that they have food and hot drinks through the night outside, and to have a break and have a coffee. We'll have we'll offer counselling, because I'm already going to have counsellors at FAEA anyway, if they want like a bereavement counsellor or anything like that, or they want to ask me questions about the death process from a spiritual perspective. I've got products there to help prepare their body, my honey of Isis oil and all of that to rub into their bodies and all of that, if they want a more spiritual cleansing preparation before they cross over, or if they want a priest or a imam or a Jewish minister or whatever, like it'll all be there. I'll have everything there. So all the family have to worry about is spending time with their loved one and saying goodbye to them, and then crossing them to the other side. So I have specific ideas of, kind of like what I want the interiors to look like, and how it's all run is going to be completely up to my sister, because it's going to be her business, but I want to get involved with the interior design. And so you'll see that I've put up stuff of cottages, and I've put her in, and I've said this is kind of like how I envisage the tangi whare to look, because I want it to look like an English cottage, with an English country garden, and just make it all beautiful for them. And then, of course, when they do transition, bring in the funeral directors and do what they have to do, and then we'll take care of the burial. So, yeah. So, and then, of course, like with the dorms, the kids' dorms, it's all going to depend on how old they all are. But I want to try and make sure that there's, that the youngest I'll go to is 9 if they're mature, but otherwise we'll take them from the age of 10 up to 22. But that the 22-year-olds would have to be okay with the fact that they would be considered the dorm big brother or sister. They'd be the ones that would be responsible for, like if the younger ones got homesick or anything like that. I want all of them to be of varying ages. So there might be 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 22-year-olds in each dorm. I'll go up to 8 beds per dorm, but I'm really kind of hoping 6. But we'll just see how, because it all depends on the land space. And if I get this place that I fell in love with in Switzerland, there would be enough land for me to be able to put in at least sort of maybe 9 dorms that would look like batches. If I have to, for building purposes, for like when it comes to getting building permits and that, if I have to put in bunks, I will put in bunks. But I'm kind of hoping I don't have to. I hated sleeping in bunks at school camp. Some kids like it, but I don't. And I was always put in the bloody top bunk, and I hate them. So I'm hoping I can get away with not using bunks. It's all just going to depend on how many kids we're able to sign up per year. And the dorm area is going to be completely cut off from the public. So the public won't have access to the kids' dorms. It'll all be based on, electronic access and all of that. Only the kids and the staff and my security team will have access to the kids' dorms, and also where we put the safe houses for the kids we rescue from the trafficking. The public won't have access to those. So my vision board is all to do with, obviously not just to do with movie posters and reminding everyone that I'm going to be bringing back the old ways of movies and entertainment and all that, but it's also putting pins in design ideas. I love architecture. I have done my whole life. My ex, before he tried to kill me, was teaching me about brutalism, which I found fascinating. But I love architecture. I always have done, and I love interior design as much as I love fashion design. So I have ideas in my head of what I want Amber's Tavern to look like, the Alchemist Tavern, and the Alchemist Cavern, and my boutique, the I want to call it the House of Honey, and the hotel and the cafe, the Mama Bear's Kitchen Cafe and Bakery. I have an idea of what I want it all to look like, but there's so many interior design options and design options out there. It's all just going to be a matter of when I sit down with my architect and my builders and my interior designers as to which one I go to. But see, the ones I've just put up with, those beautiful bedrooms with the quilts and the coloured beds and all of that, I'm thinking that's what I want for my chalet, so that when we invite the guest tarot readers over, the star of the month, or like if I'm inviting someone, say like someone like one of the musicians to play, like a guest musician to play for like a couple of weeks at my lounge bar. I was talking about my lounge bar that ended up turning into a whole cabaret sort of thing, that they would have places to stay that were private if they didn't want to stay, like if our hotel was booked, they'd have their own private little places. And that's because when I was originally looking at going to Moscow, there was a place I was looking at in Moscow that had 3 little chalets for staff to stay in. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that would be perfect for guest musicians and like the star of the month tarot reader, that sort of thing. To invite them, like the teachers that would be invited to come and teach at the Amber Wilkinson School of Alchemy and all that. They would have their own like private rooms and not dorms, or where they have their own privacy. So yeah, the Amber Wilkinson School of Alchemy obviously is going to be a big house, and what isn't given over to the classrooms and museum, the upstairs, and that will be where the teachers will stay. And so yeah, so I'm just getting putting ideas down on my social media for when it's go time. So that's why you'll see so many different kinds of things going up, because it's kind of me just putting a pin in it for later, so that when I do find where I want to buy, I can walk around with my architect and my interior designer and my landscape gardener and say, look at the pictures. Is this possible? What do you reckon? What do you think? And then we can take it from there. So it's like me just planting little seeds and waiting to see what my design team are going to help me grow from it. So I'm just explaining it. Okay? Okay. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.